There was a time when the Watchers, angels of immense power and glory, walked among the heavenly realms. But their rebellion condemned them to fall, and with it came a fate they would never escape. Desperate, they raised their voices to the sky, begging for mercy. They sought a second chance, a way back to the light. However, the divine response was not what they expected. This punishment, sealed by God's own will, has remained hidden in the shadows of time, a sentence so absolute that even demons tremble at its memory. Join me on this journey into the unknown, where we'll reveal a judgment that changed the fate of the angels, and ours. Before we begin, welcome to Time of Redemption. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share so more people can discover these forgotten biblical mysteries. Long before the waters covered the earth in judgment, there was a transgression that would mark the fate of humanity and those who caused it. A group of angels, known as the Watchers, made a decision that would forever separate them from heaven. They descended to earth with a hidden ambition, leaving their divine purpose behind. They didn't come as guardians but as conquerors. Led by reckless leaders, they defied sacred laws and gave in to forbidden desires. Their influence spread quickly, bringing with it hidden knowledge and unprecedented corruption. But what began as an act of power soon became their eternal condemnation. Genesis 6 verses 1-4 And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. From this transgression came a fearsome offspring, the Nephilim, beings of colossal size and unfathomable cruelty. Their presence brought chaos and despair, as their insatiable hunger and thirst for dominance pushed humanity to the brink of annihilation. However, the real danger wasn't just in their overwhelming strength. The Watchers, in their rebellion, granted men knowledge they should never have had. They revealed secrets of the universe, the art of war, the power of magic, and the hidden mysteries of the heavens. What seemed like wisdom became a curse, plunging the world into an age of darkness and sin. Book of Enoch, chapter 8:1-2 And Azazel taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth and the art of working them. And there arose much impiety, and they committed fornication, and they went astray, and became corrupt in all their ways. The earth was plunged into darkness. Chaos reigned uncontrollably, and violence became the language of a corrupted humanity. The echo of sin resonated in every corner of the world, and the spilled blood cried out for justice. What was once paradise had now turned into a realm of shadows, where the Nephilim and their fallen parents spread their unholy dominion. But the heavens were not indifferent. From above, the archangels looked down with righteous indignation, witnessing the suffering of the innocent and the breaking of divine laws. Evil had reached its peak, and the scales of justice demanded a response. The judgment of the Most High was near, and his decree would be unavoidable. Book of Enoch 9:1-3 And then Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel looked down from heaven and saw much blood shed on the earth and all anarchy being forged upon it. And they said to each other, The earth, which has been left without inhabitants, is crying out. The sound of their screams reaches to the gates of heaven. And now, to you, O Holy One of Heaven, the souls of men make their demand, saying, Bring our cause before the Most High. The Most High would not remain silent in the face of such evil. The sentence was passed. The Watchers would pay for their transgression, and their impure offspring would be eradicated. Their reign over the earth was coming to an end, and their punishment would be as great as their crimes. Divine justice would descend like a storm, sweeping away all corruption and restoring the lost order. Book of Enoch 10:9-12 And the Lord said to Gabriel, Proceed against the bastards and the reprobates and the children of fornication. Destroy the children of the Watchers from among men. Send them to fight each other, so that they destroy one another in battle. And when their fathers have been bound in the depths of the earth, they will be destroyed after many generations. And no plea for mercy will be granted to them. The sentence was final. The Nephilim, those titans who once dominated the earth with their immense power, would become agents of their own destruction. A battle would break out among them, a brutal war where their overwhelming strength would lead to their downfall. The earth would tremble under their fury, but in the end, their lineage would be erased in a whirlwind of blood and chaos. Genesis 6 verses 5-7. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great on the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And the Lord was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, for I am sorry that I have made them. A flood was coming. A divine reset. A judgment that would cleanse the world of its corruption. But not everyone would perish. A righteous and faithful man found favor in the eyes of the Lord. His name was Noah. Genesis 6 verses 8-9. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with God. God gave Noah a command, to build an ark, a vessel of salvation for him and his family. Through Noah, humanity would get another chance. But for the watchers, there was no hope. Jude 1 verse 6. And the angels who did not keep their proper domain, but left their own abode, he has reserved in everlasting chains under darkness for the judgment of the great day. The watchers, those fallen angels who had corrupted the earth with their presence, faced a fate far worse than death itself. They would be imprisoned, chained, and cast into the abyss, waiting for a judgment that would seal their eternal condemnation. But they were not yet ready to accept that fate. In their desperation, they cried out for forgiveness. Those beings, once powerful and revered, now trembled in fear. Trapped by the weight of their own rebellion, they faced a punishment they never imagined. The divine decree had already been made. They would be thrown into the abyss and kept in prison until the final day. Yet, in their anguish, they refused to accept their destiny. If only they could present their defense, beg for mercy, or if someone could intercede for them before God. And that's when they decided to turn to a man, Enoch. Book of Enoch 13:3-4. Then I went and spoke to all of them together, and they were all afraid, and fear and trembling took hold of them. And they asked me to write a petition for them, so that they could find forgiveness and bring the petition to the Lord in heaven. Enoch, a man chosen by God, was no ordinary human. He had walked with the Lord and received wisdom beyond that of any mortal. Now, he had a unique mission ahead, to serve as an intermediary between heaven and the fallen angels. The Watchers, beings who once enjoyed great glory, were forced to bow before a man. Humiliated and desperate, they begged and wept. Their once authoritative and powerful voices now trembled with fear, reflecting their terror before the inevitable. Book of Enoch 13:5. For they could no longer speak to him or raise their eyes to heaven, because of the shame of their sin, for which they had been condemned. Despite their fear, Enoch, driven by a sense of duty, accepted the difficult task that had been given to him. With his heart weighed down by uncertainty, he set off on a journey that would take him far beyond the earth, across the stars, to the majestic throne of God. As he ascended through the vast cosmic realms, Enoch entered skies that grew increasingly awe-inspiring and overwhelming. Before him unfolded astonishing visions, huge walls of fire, celestial beings that defied all human understanding, and the very essence of the universe, all revealed to him in a unique and terrifying experience. Book of Enoch 14:8-10. And the vision was shown to me, behold, in the clouds, a great house made of white marble, and its walls were like mosaics of hailstones, and its floor was of glass. And its roof was like the path of the stars, and the lightning flashed between them. And in the midst of the house was a great glory wrapped in flames of fire. Enoch felt small and fragile before the immense majesty of God. The light surrounding him blinded him, and the weight of that presence crushed his soul. This was a heavenly domain, a sacred place, foreign to those who had fallen in rebellion. Would the Watchers have any hope of being forgiven? Could divine mercy grant them a second chance, or was their transgression irreparable? Enoch stood still, his mortal body trembling, as the pleas of the fallen angels he had brought with him echoed in his mind. Yet, as he waited for a response, the silence of heaven grew deep and overwhelming. Suddenly, a voice resounded from the throne of God, powerful and definitive. A decree that reverberated throughout the universe, marking the fate of the fallen irrevocably. Book of Enoch 14:3-4. You have been in heaven, but all the mysteries had not yet been revealed to you. And you knew the useless ones, and in the hardness of your hearts, you made this known to the women. And through these mysteries, the women and men work much evil on earth. Here's a more colloquial translation of the text. The verdict was final. No mercy, no second chances, no redemption. The fallen angels sealed their fate the moment they chose to rebel. Book of Enoch 14:5. Therefore, you will have no peace. God's judgment was irreversible. Humans, made with the ability to repent and seek forgiveness, still had hope for redemption. But the angels didn't share that chance. The Watchers had experienced the full glory of heaven. They had been face to face with God's magnificence, feeling His divine presence and knowing His absolute power. But in their pride, they chose to challenge that holiness and rebel. Book of Enoch 15:2-3. And he answered and said to me, Do not be afraid, Enoch, righteous man and scribe of righteousness. Go and say to the Watchers of heaven who sent you to intercede for them, you should intercede for humans, not the other way around. Why did you leave the high, holy, and eternal heaven, and lie with women, and defile yourselves with the daughters of men, and take wives for yourselves, and do as the children of the earth do? God reminded them of their place. They weren't meant to be like humans. They were created as celestial beings, with wisdom and strength far beyond human beings. But they had abandoned their divine nature, choosing lust, power, and corruption over obedience. Book of Enoch 15:6-7. But before you were spiritual, living an eternal, immortal life throughout all generations of the world. And that's why I didn't assign you wives. As for the spiritual beings of heaven, their dwelling is in heaven. This was the ultimate betrayal. The angels had been given a role far above that of humans, but they craved the pleasures of the flesh. They sought to rule instead of serve, to corrupt instead of uphold justice. And now they would suffer forever. Hebrews 2:16. For surely it is not the angels He helps, but the descendants of Abraham. Here's a more colloquial translation of the text. Unlike fallen humanity, which could be redeemed through faith, the Watchers had no such hope. Their judgment was final, their punishment irreversible. They had lost their place in heaven, and now they would face the consequences of their rebellion. Book of Enoch 15:9-10. And now, the giants born of spirits and flesh will be called evil spirits on earth. Because they are born from men and the holy Watchers, their origin and beginning come from them. They will be evil spirits on earth, and evil spirits will be their name. Even the Nephilim, the children of the fallen angels, wouldn't find rest. Their souls, marked by the curse and unrest, would wander forever on earth, doomed to torment humanity until the final judgment. With the verdict delivered, Enoch was sent back. The gates of heaven closed behind him, and he descended once more to earth, bringing with him the message the Watchers feared. There would be no salvation, no mercy, no release for them. The fall of the Watchers was final, and their fate would be eternal damnation. The celestial mandate had been given. The fallen angels had received their sentence. Their prayers were ignored, and the judgment was unappealable. Now, they would face the consequences of their actions. But how can you imprison such powerful, supernatural beings? Where could these Watchers, once glorious beings, be confined so they could never corrupt the earth again? God, in His infinite justice, had prepared a place for them, an abyss of despair, an unimaginable prison, hidden in the deepest depths, beneath the very creation. Book of Enoch 18:14-16. And I saw a deep abyss with columns of celestial fire, and between them I saw places of darkness. And that day, my angel said, This place is prepared for those who are cursed forever. This abyss, this wicked prison, was not just any pit. It was a place of torment and absolute desolation, a realm where even light couldn't escape. The fallen angels, once glorious and free, were now bound in darkness, chained by the divine decree. 2 Peter 2:4. For if God did not spare the angels when they sinned, but cast them into hell and delivered them into chains of gloomy darkness to be kept until the judgment. This place, called Tartarus, was a prison like no other. The chains that bound the watchers weren't made of earthly metal but forged by God's own power. Their cries for mercy echoed through the abyss, but no answer came. Except for Azazel. His punishment was even worse. Book of Enoch 10:4-6. And again the Lord said to Raphael, Bind Azazel hand and foot and throw him into the darkness. Make a hole in the desert that is in Judea and throw him there, and place rough and jagged rocks on top of him, and cover him with darkness, and let him stay there forever. Azazel, the corrupter of men, the one who taught forbidden arts and led humanity to destruction, was thrown into the desert, into an abandoned land where he would be buried under jagged rocks. No light would reach him, no voice would call his name. He would remain there, alone, in the dark, until the final judgment. Book of Enoch 21:1-3. And I saw a desolate place, and there I saw 7 stars of heaven bound together in it, like great mountains burning with fire. Then I said, For what sin are they bound, and why have they been thrown here? Then Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with me, answered and said, These are the watchers who have transgressed the command of the Most High and are bound here until the end of days. The watchers, who had once walked in the courts of heaven, who had once gazed upon God's glory, were now nothing but prisoners, condemned for eternity. Revelation 20:10. And the one who had deceived them was thrown into the lake of fire and sulfur, where the beast and the false prophet were, and they will be tormented day and night, forever and ever. What happened to them wasn't just a punishment, it was an eternal warning. A warning to all of creation, to anyone who might even think about challenging the will of the Creator. To those who dared oppose the supreme power. The watchers realized too late the magnitude of their mistake. Their voices, once full of authority, were silenced in the abyss, and their names became an eternal curse. However, their impact and corruption didn't end with their fall. The abyss, in fact, was just the beginning of their suffering. The watchers were thrown into the darkness, chained and confined deep within the earth. But their punishment wasn't over. The final judgment still awaited. From the moment of their rebellion, their fate was sealed. They had chosen the path of betrayal, and now their punishment would be one of eternal fire. Matthew 25:41. Then he will say to those on his left, Depart from me, you cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. A day will come when the prison of the fallen angels will be emptied. Not for redemption, but for destruction. On that day, they will be thrown into the lake of fire, joining the devil and his followers in a torment that will never end. Revelation 20:10. And the one who had deceived them was thrown into the lake of fire and sulfur, where the beast and the false prophet were, and they will be tormented day and night, forever and ever. This is the final destiny. The ultimate outcome for those who dared challenge the Creator. The fallen angels, once shining with great power and glory, will face the full weight of celestial justice. There will be no room for their pleas. Their names will fade into oblivion. Their legacy will be marked by destruction. But what about us? What lessons can we learn from their story today? The fall of the Watchers began with pride. They rejected God's sovereignty, choosing to follow their own selfish desires. And for that decision, they lost everything. Proverbs 16:18. Pride goes before the fall, and a haughty spirit before destruction. If even powerful celestial beings couldn't escape judgment, what does that mean for us? How should we live, knowing the end that awaited them? The story of the fallen angels is not just an ancient tale. It's a warning. A warning against rebellion. A warning against corruption. A warning against turning away from God's path. So, I ask, if God didn't show mercy to the fallen angels, how should we live today? What do you think? Should he have given them another chance, or was the punishment deserved? I invite you to comment. If this reflection has impacted you, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos. See you next time. Stay strong in faith, seek wisdom, and remember that some mysteries are meant to serve as warnings, so they don't repeat. Thanks for watching.